Hi, hello. Welcome to the last part, for now, of my Landgrabb apartment series. Today we are decorating Vladdy Daddy's apartment. It is going to heavily use the Vampires pack and the base game. I used a few objects from other packs, but I think this is the first apartment that is minimal pack usage. But like all of them, we are going to be starting off here in the kitchen, and unlike the rest of them, I leave the entire living space open concept. The last two apartments I have put up walls to separate the spaces, but this one I felt like Vlad wouldn't really mess with the existing floor plan, so he just kind of left it as is. But he did, however, make a lot of homemade scratches and holes in the wall. This is a new apartment building, so there wouldn't probably be this many dings or spider webs in the wall, but I kind of got a little heavy-handed with the decals and the spider webs. I just kind of feel like it wouldn't be a vampire's place without them. I also give Vlad the old kitchen appliances because he doesn't use them that much. He really only uses them when he has human sims over as guests, and I don't imagine it's that often. So he just doesn't feel the need to have modern appliances. Here I am putting up the spider webs in the kitchen. I put one in that counter space over by the trash can. I also hang one in front of the corner cabinet, which I thought was very clever. I was actually really excited that I got the spider web to hang exactly how I wanted it to. And then I will be using this runner quite a lot in the build. I use it here in the kitchen, and then I do believe I use it one other time in the hallway. I might also use it as bath mats in the bathroom. However, we will not be seeing the bathrooms in this video because, like I said in my previous video or the one before that, all the bathrooms pretty much look the same. The only thing that's different about them is the decorations in them. But here we are starting on the very, very small dining space. It is a 6-seater table. Why does Vlad have 6 seats? I have no idea. But he does, in case he has, like I said, in case he has guests over, which I don't think is that much. He also does have a microwave in the kitchen, the only modern appliance that he has. I don't know why I gave him a microwave, but I did. I'm sure it was because I didn't really want to clutter up his kitchen because he doesn't use it that much, but I just wanted something to take up space on the counter, so I did give him a microwave. And then over here in the dining area, I'm just putting up some plants. I do put up a lot of portraits up in this apartment. I use a lot of the same ones, just different swatches. I like to imagine that those are Vlad's relatives and like his long lost lovers of the past. Because Vlad is very old, he probably has seen many family members pass and lovers leave him too, so I put a lot of odes to them around. I also kind of decided that Vlad's color scheme was gonna be purple. I did experiment for a little bit trying to use green. You'll see it here in a little bit when I get over into the living room. I do try to make the couches a green color. It just didn't seem quite right, so I do make them the dark purple swatch, which I think is kind of iconic for the Vampires pack in particular. But over here by this bathroom, I am going to be putting this base game portrait up, or not base game, get together portrait up on the wall here, and then I'm going to be using some candle sconces from Vampires, which I do use quite a lot of, just like in the Goths apartment. I use a lot of candles in here, which is probably very, very dangerous, but we do it anyways. And then here's that runner again. This, though, I'm very proud of myself because I used move objects to kind of center it here in the hallway, and I somehow got it to align perfectly and match up without it snapping together. Super proud of myself. And then I also put a statue over here in the corner, maybe that's one of Vlad's, like, family members that they had a statue made of them. And then I put a big giant chair over here, which I assume could probably go at the dining table or was one of his old dining room chairs, but it just didn't fit in the space anymore. And then here we are moving on into the living room, which, like I said, I do use these couches from Vampires, and I do try to use them in the green swatch, but I do use that dark purple swatch. And then also in this living room, there isn't really a focal point. There is no TV. Just like with the appliances, I feel like Vlad doesn't have much modern technology, period. The only form of entertainment he has electronic-wise is going to be an old box TV, which goes in the bedroom that is right behind through the door in the dining space. Other than that, he has this conversation pit where I guess you come and you sit with your pets and you talk to the vampire, or he kind of just sits there, lies around. He does have some bookshelves in that third bedroom. I imagine he probably can take some of those books out here and lounge around and read. And he also has a games table in this space, and he also has an organ, because I could not put that in here for him, his iconic organ. I mean, could you just imagine being his upstairs neighbors and just hearing the sounds of an organ playing at 3 in the morning? Just awful, terrible, feel bad for whoever lives upstairs, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to make that the Bailey Moon family. So rip to them hearing an organ at 3 a.m. But I would never tell Vlad that he couldn't play his organ, nor could I ever tell Vlad that he could not bring his organ here. But I am just adding a few more dings and stuff to this wall. I will be hanging some more spider webs, some portraits up, and then we will be moving on into some bedrooms. But before we do that, I just wanted to catch you guys up and let you know that I did in fact finish the Shatter Me series over the weekend, and it was just as disappointing as I thought it was going to be. That book series did absolutely nothing for me. I felt like nothing happened. It was very lackluster. The epilogue is super disappointing. Sorry to everybody who is a big fan of Warner. I don't get it. I don't see it. I thought I did in the beginning, in the first 3 books, and then all of a sudden you lost me completely. It's just, there was nothing there. I felt like it was very empty. I know that there is a series 2. Will not be reading series 2 because I value my time now, and I value myself, and self-care. Will not be reading the second series of Shatter Me. I have, however, started reading Jeanette McCurdy's Half His Age book, and I am very much confused about it. I don't know if I like it or not. I'm on chapter 7, so we'll just have to see how that goes. And I will let you know if it's any good or not. Right now, I'm just like, sometimes there's stuff that needs to be said, and this book just seems like something that she probably just shouldn't have put out there. But again, we'll see. I don't know, maybe there's some big overarching message or theme in it that I just haven't gotten to yet. But here we are in Vlad's bedroom, and it is very, very simple. It is just his coffin, all these scratches, a few candelabras, some cobwebs, and then a massive portrait of him on the wall. And that's pretty much it. I feel like Vlad is kind of a minimalist type of guy. Doesn't have a lot of furniture since moving into this apartment. He kind of got rid of a lot of it. And then this room right next to his is the guest room, which I feel like is a bit more cozy. I made the room have a lot of brown tones in it to kind of warm it up a little bit from all the cool colors in the other room. I feel like Vlad would want his guests to feel comfortable in his apartment when they're sleeping here, but not too comfortable. So there is still spider webs in here. There is also an urn on the dresser and a book that is probably used to bring the dead back to life. I really wanted to use the one that had like the anatomically correct heart on it, but the wood swatch just didn't match all the woods in the room, so that was a bit upsetting. I think I used the one that has like the garlic and like the flower or something on it. Really don't know what that book is used for, but I thought it was kind of creepy to be like right next to this urn, which I imagine is probably one of Vlad's loved ones, if I had to guess. And then I am putting this mirror up from Vampires, which I never realized up until recently, and recently very loosely, being that it's kind of like foggy and kind of like you're not supposed to, I guess, see out of it, which I think is kind of interesting, kind of cool. But we're adding more scratches, more rips to the wallpaper. I will be putting some flowers on this table, which I believe all of the plants in his apartment minus the big giant hanging one next to the organ. I believe these are all like plants that are supposed to look dead, so they're like minimal effort plants, if you know what I mean. And then in this final room, it's a study of sorts. It's got that tiny old box TV in here. There's some bookcases in here as well, and just a bunch of old boxes and chests for Vlad to store his most important belongings in. Really, is just more just like a storage room and a library space to read. But that pretty much sums up this entire video. This is the shortest one in my apartment series because, like I said, Vlad's a minimalist, doesn't have a lot of furniture. And yeah, I don't have any more pre-recorded footage after this. This was it. Next video will be new. I have a few ideas in mind. I have been obsessively playing Town to City. So I have some ideas in mind for that. I don't know if it will be me playing the game necessarily, but I do have a lot of parts in my town that are very much undecorated. So I was thinking about just like filming myself decorating those spaces and then having like the music playing in the background and just kind of uploading those with me talking for like a little bit in them. And I also have a few Sims builds in mind to do. So hopefully I can get that rolling this weekend and either have it ready to post next week or the week after. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!
Mm-hmm.